Good morning, all of you. This is Dr. Devdeep Pal. Today, our topic is vitamin E and vitamin K. Now, coming to vitamin E. Vitamin E is a fat soluble vitamin. It is also called an anti sterility vitamin. Coming to the chemical structure of it, the chemical structure of vitamin E, it is composed of chromin ring with isoprenoid side chains. The antioxidant property of the vitamin E is mainly due to the chromin ring. Vitamin E is also called alpha tocopherol. It is excreted in bile by liver. Now, the RDA and the sources of vitamin E. RDA means recommended daily allowance. The recommended daily allowance of for an adult man is 10 milligram. That of a woman is 8 milligram. And 1 milligram of alpha tocopherol is equal to 1.5 international unit. Coming to the sources of vitamin E are liver, milk, butter and egg. Coming to the functions of vitamin E. The most important function of vitamin E is that of an antioxidant. Vitamin E is a chain breaking, free radical trapping antioxidant. Let's see how it functions as an antioxidant. Firstly, the cell membrane is composed of a lipid bilayer formed by PUFA or polyunsaturated fatty acids. Peroxidation of PUFA results in the formation of a lipid peroxide radical. Now, vitamin E, what it does? The vitamin E reacts with the lipid peroxide radical to form non-radical lipid hydroperoxide and vitamin E radical as shown in the figure. Now, the vitamin E radical that is formed gets reduced to the vitamin E with the help of vitamin C and glutathione. Glutathione is also an important antioxidant of our body. It is formed by 3 amino acids, namely glutamic acid, glycine and cysteine. So, in this way, it helps in prevention of lipid peroxidation and thereby helping to so that our cell membrane is not destroyed. This is the main function of vitamin E. Now, coming to other functions of vitamin E. Other functions of vitamin E are membrane structure and integrity of the cells. By preventing lipid peroxidation, it maintains the membrane structure and integrity of the cell. Protects RBC from hemolysis by oxidizing agent like H2O2. Prevents sterility. As I have told you previously, it is also called anti-sterility hormone. It preserves and maintains the germinal epithelium of gonads for proper reproductive functions. Prevents oxidation of vitamin A and carotenes. Scavenges free radicals, thereby helping in anti-aging. The free radicals that are formed are harmful to the cell itself. Thereby, so it scavenges the free radicals, thereby acting as an anti-aging agent. It also reduces the risk of atherosclerosis by reducing oxidation of LDL. What is LDL? LDL is low density lipoproteins. Okay. It also helps in boosting of our immune response, mainly by acting as an antioxidant. Also helps in the proper synthesis of nucleic acids like DNA and RNA. Now, coming to the deficiency symptoms. What are the deficiency symptoms? First is sterility. It may cause sterility, degenerative changes in muscle, megaloblastic anemia due to decreased nucleic acid formation, changes in nervous system, increased fragility of erythrocytes due to the free radicals, minor neurological symptoms. For hypervitaminosis, it is the least toxic among other fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E and K. So that's it from vitamin E. Now going to next topic, vitamin K. Vitamin K. Vitamin K is also a fat soluble vitamin. In fact, it is the only fat soluble vitamin with a coenzyme function. It has a major role in the coagulation process of our body. Now, vitamin K exists in three forms. Vitamin K1, phyloquinone. Vitamin K1 is also known as phyloquinone, present in plants and green vegetables. Vitamin K2, menaquinone, produced by our intestinal bacteria. And vitamin K3, menadione, it is a synthetic form, can be metabolized to phyloquinone or vitamin K1. Now coming to the dietary sources. The good dietary sources are cabbage, cauliflower, tomato, spinach, green vegetables. It is also present in egg yolk, meat, liver, cheese and milk products. The RDA or recommended daily allowance is approximate 70 to 140 microgram per day. Now coming to the absorption and transportation of vitamin K. Absorption takes place in presence of chylomicrons and bile salts. It is transported along with liver and stored in the it is transported along with LDL and stored in liver. Okay. Now coming to the functions of vitamin K. The major function of vitamin K is in the blood clotting process of our body. As I have told you previously that it has a coenzyme function. It acts as a coenzyme for the carboxylation of glutamic acid of various vitamin K dependent factors. Now what are the vitamin K dependent factors? These are factor 2, also called prothrombin, factor 7, factor 9, factor 10, protein C and protein S. Now for blood coagulation process to occur, several blood clotting factors should undergo post-translational modification, thereby resulting into active substrates. Let's see what's the role of glutamic acid in clotting. The gamma carboxylation of clotting factors, it renders them a negative charge, which in turn helps them to bind with the positive calcium ion, which in turn binds with the phospholipids of the cell membranes of platelets, which carries a negative charge, thereby bringing the clotting factors together, resulting in more interaction between them, and the action becomes more efficient on platelet platform. Now vitamin K is also required in the carboxylation of osteocalcin. What is osteocalcin? It is a calcium binding protein in the bone. Now what happens after carboxylation, after gamma carboxylation, vitamin K or hydroquinone is converted into 2,3 epoxide form. This 2,3 epoxide is converted to quinone by epoxide reductase, which is in turn further converted to vitamin K hydroquinone by reductase to become active again. So this is a cyclic process for regeneration of vitamin K. Now what are the antagonists of vitamin K? There are two types of antagonists. One is natural, another is synthetic. Natural is dicumarol and synthetic is warfarin. Antagonists of vitamin K helps in reduce blood clot formation. So this is what is the uses of dicumarol and warfarin? These are used in deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, heart attack and stroke. Main mechanism of action of dicumarol and warfarin is it inhibits epoxide reductase, thereby preventing the formation of active vitamin K hydroquinone form. Now coming to the deficiency symptoms. What are the causes of deficiency of vitamin K? First is fat malabsorption. Second is broad spectrum antibiotics. Increase of broad spectrum antibiotics causes killing of gut flora, so thereby resulting in deficiency of vitamin K. Third point is loss of vitamin K in feces in conditions like diarrhea. Now what are the symptoms or deficiency symptoms? It leads to bleeding disorders due to decrease in active prothrombin levels. So bleeding disorders, what happens in bleeding disorders? So a minor injury result in profuse bleeding. Now what is the hypervitaminosis of vitamin K? Hypervitaminosis results in increased RBC destruction, resulting in anemia and jaundice. So this is all about vitamin E and vitamin K. Now the main question that may come from vitamin K and vitamin E is you will be told to explain the antioxidant property of vitamin E. There you have to tell the prevention, how it helps in prevention of lipid peroxidation and everything, as I have told you. From vitamin K, you will be asked about the role of vitamin K in blood coagulation process. Here you have to tell the gamma carboxylation of the vitamin K dependent factors and all those that I have told you. So these are the main two questions that can come from vitamin E and vitamin K. So that's it from this lecture. Thank you.